Hi, welcome to Codavo. In this episode of HackerRank problem solving series, we'll be solving this question, Ice Cream Parlor. So in this HackerRank question, we are given an ice cream parlor and two friends. So these two friends are gonna buy two ice creams. And it is given that they will surely buy two different flavors. I don't know why. It's maybe because of their dislikes, whatever. They are gonna buy two different flavors and they are gonna take m amount of money. Okay, this m is the variable that is given to us that denotes the total amount of money that they are taking. So the condition is they will spend all the money that they brought, that is m amount of money, when they come back. So if they, let us say they take 10 rupees to the ice cream parlor, they will spend the whole 10 rupees and then come back, and each will have one ice cream. Okay, so these ice creams will have different prices and the price of each flavor is given to us in an array. Okay, so these are the inputs that are given. Obviously the m amount of money, m the variable, is given to us as input, as well as we are given the array which has the price of each of these flavors. Okay, so as said, they would have to each buy an ice cream flavor, and the total cost of the sum of these two flavors should add up to m, because they will come back spending all of this money, right? So each will buy a flavor and the cost of both of them should add up to the given sum m. So that is our question. What do we have to do is we have to find the index of these two values, that is the index of these two flavors. So let us take an example. So in this example, let us say we have 3 bills, that is 3 rupees. What are the two values or two flavors that they will buy in order to make the sum as 3? Obviously they would buy 1 and 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, and hence the index of 1 and index of 2 would be written. And it is given that they are using 1 based indexing. Usually an array starts with the index 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. But here we should return the index starting from 1. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So the index that we would be returning are 1 and 3. This would be our answer to this sample input. So first we are going to start with I pointing to 1. So if I is equal to 1 and they bring in 3 rupees, what is the other one should buy? Okay, let us assume that I is the first item that they are buying and J is the second item that they are buying. Okay, so they are buying two flavors, right? And the sum of these two flavors should add up to 3 bills. So if I is the first flavor, then J will represent the second flavor. So what we are doing is we are subtracting the total number of amount that we have, that is m, 3 bills minus 1. So 3 minus 1 would give us 2. So if I is equal to 1, J should be 2. So what we will do is we will search each and every element in this array using linear search algorithm and check whether the value that is J, the value that J is pointing to, is 2. If it is 2, in that case we would return that index 1 and 3. If it is not, in that first iteration we would move the I to the next number, that is 10. So now the value of I is 10 and J starts from 0. It would check whether the subtraction of the difference between the total number of amount that we have and the price of that flavor, and we'll see whether that number or that value is there in this array. I hope I'm not confusing. What I'm trying to tell you is we have this amount of money and the element that we are pointing to. As I said, if we are at 1, 3 bills minus 1, 3 rupees minus 1 rupee gives us 2 rupees. So if one bought a 1 rupee ice cream, the other should buy a 2 rupee ice cream in order to make the sum as 3. So if the I value is 1, then the J value should be 2. So we are checking if the I value is 1, whether the 2 rupee ice cream is there in this price list. If it is there in this price list, then one will buy a 1 rupee ice cream and the second one will buy the 2 rupee ice cream, and total they will add up to 3. This is the logic. So let us move on to an IDE and program this logic. I think it will be more clearer to you when we code this. So here we have our main function. So in this main function, the first thing that we are given to us as input is t. So what is this t? So we are given n test cases. There are t test cases. So we are being checked in each of these test cases. They are given this as trips that they go. Essentially what they are telling us is these are these many test cases that we have to check for this input. Okay, it is really straightforward, you don't have to confuse anything. And then we have this for loop. This is where our program starts, essentially here. Okay, so int m is the amount of cache that they take when they are going for the parallel, as we saw in the slides earlier. So c in m, so we are taking the input of the amount of cache they are taking in, and then the value of n is being got as input. So what is this n? So n is the array size, that is we are given an array which contains the total number of prices of all these flavors of ice creams. But in order to get the array as an input, we would have to need the size of this array, and the size of this array is given to us as n, and we are declaring an integer array of size n before getting the input of all these elements that are present in this array. So this whole stuff is just taking all the inputs. Okay, and then we are calling the ice cream parlor function. Usually we would type all the code in the main function itself, but since we have a lot of for loops in this code, and in order to implement this ice cream parlor function also, we would have to have so much of nested for loops. In order to make it simple, I have a function here, and it takes 3 arguments, that is the value of m, n and the array itself. So m is the cache, n is the total size of this array, and arr is the array itself. So all we have to do now is complete this function. Okay, so this ice cream parlor function takes all these inputs and it returns the index of the 2 flavors. Okay, so let us start with traversing this array. So int I is equal to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus. Okay, what is the first thing that we are doing? As I said, if we take 3 rupees and the first index is 1 rupee, we would subtract these two. So 3 rupees minus 1 rupee will give us 2 rupees. That difference is what we are finding the first. So let us name it a temp variable. So int temp is equal to m, a total amount of cache that we are bringing, an array of I. So this is the difference. What we are finding is temporary is the price of the second ice cream that we are gonna buy, right? So if this price ice cream is present in the given list or in the given array, it means this is the index that we are gonna return. I and j are the index. So what is j? J is the loop variable that we are gonna use here. So j is less than n to j plus plus. Okay, so using this j for loop, we are gonna search whether this temporary variable is present in the given array. If it is present, we will return these 2 indexes I and j. If it is not, we will move on to the next iteration. Okay, so if I is equal to j, so what does this mean? We are given that specifically they both are gonna buy 2 distinct flavors. So if I and j both are equal, it means they are buying the same ice cream, same flavor, which is not possible because it is specifically given in the question, right? So in that case, we are using a continue statement to skip to the next iteration. So if that is not true, in that case, what we are going to do is we are going to check whether array of j, that is the element that we are pointing to using this array, is equal to the temporary element, that is the element that we are searching for. So this is a basic linear search algorithm, right? So we are searching an element by element the given value. So we are checking for each element, is this the element that we want? If so, we'll execute the statements that we want, which is to print the index of these values. So if it is true, we'll print I and then a space and then j. No, we will have to print I plus 1 and j plus 1 because as I said earlier, this is index based on 1. So 1 based indexing and not 0 based indexing. The value of I and j used here are based on 0 based indexing, and hence we would have to add 1 to these both values in order to get a 1 based indexing. and we are ending it with an ending. So if we have found these two indexes, we need not continue this process again, right? And hence we are using a return statement. So the return statement would terminate this function and move on to the next process, that is it will come back here, right? Since it is a void function, we are not returning anything, we are just returning nothing. Okay, so we just have this return statement in order to terminate this process. Okay, so this is our code. Now let's copy this code, move on to HackerRank, paste this and verify it. So now we have our code here, let us run this. So our code has passed all the sample test cases. Now let's submit this code and verify that it is surely passing all of these test cases, and we have got the compiler message as success. And congratulations, you have scored 15 points in this question. So now let's move on to our try it session. So if we pass this array 1356 as the input array, and the total amount of money that these friends take with them are 6. With these two inputs, what would be the output that we would get? Let me know your answers in the comment section below. If you love this video, please drop a like and comment down below if you have any questions. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next episode of HackerRank Problem Solving. Until then, bye bye.